Hey everybody, this is Clyde with Powerwash.com. A customer called me earlier this week and asked me why his pump was making a knocking sound. I thought today we'd do a quick little troubleshooting video about pressure washer pumps and what might be causing your pump to knock or run rough. Alright, so the first thing that I want to make sure that you understand is to make sure your pump has an adequate supply of water. Start at the supply, the wall, wherever the water is coming out, your spigot. Make sure you have opened it up and you've got plenty of flow. Then move down to your washer. Check your hose. Make sure that there aren't any kinks, bends, or weird 90-degree elbows in there that could be restricting the flow. Another thing that you can look for in your hose, your inlet hose, is the diameter of the hose itself. You want to make sure that you're using a hose that is adequate to supply the amount of water that your pump will demand. Another thing to remember is that larger pumps will need a water tank. Municipal water supplies just don't supply enough water to satisfy the demand of the 5-gallon a minute, 6-gallon a minute pumps that some of the larger pressure washers have. So you're going to need a tank between the hose supply and the pump so that there's an adequate supply of water always on hand that pump can draw from. The number one thing to remember is just make sure your pump is getting enough water. You do not want to starve your pump of water. Next, let's talk about leaks in the inlet line. You might not even see the leak, and water may not be dripping out of the leak because the pump is going to be sucking it in or sucking air in. And when that happens, that's when you start hearing the knocking, the grinding, the noisy pump. Because what happens when it sucks air, it creates tiny bubbles inside the pump, and when those bubbles are put under pressure, they implode, they make noise, and they can really damage the internal components of your pressure washer pump. So check your inlet line very carefully for anywhere that air might be getting in. Make sure that you use PTFE tape and gaskets, whatever you need, to seal up that line and make sure that the only thing going through there is water. Finally, I want to mention another thing that can sometimes happen is when you find debris or something inside your pump or inside your hose line. Debris can cause restrictions, and that can restrict flow and cause the pump to make noise. It can also prevent, if it gets stuck in the check valve, it can actually prevent a check valve from closing properly and allow water to surge backwards through the pump, and that's obviously not good. So you can prevent that in a couple of ways. The best way is to use an inline filter, such as this one. This is a can-style filter. Water flows through this way. It's got a screen in the bottom, and then it flows out through the top. This is a nice one because you can easily unscrew, clean the filter, dump the water if you need to, and then put it right back together and go back to work. Another example of a filter is like this inline filter, and this one's handy because it has an arrow right there on the bottom, so water comes in this way, has an arrow, and then it comes out this way, and you can see that the top unscrews so you can pull the filtration out just like that. And it's also got a handy clean out port so that you can leave this screwed in line, unscrew your clean out port, and let any water or debris that might be in there just drain out. You can also, wash it from the top and let the debris drain out. So using an inlet or an inline filter can help prevent debris, whether it's dirt or little pieces of PTFE tape or bits of rubber or whatever may have been lodged in the pipe, rust, lime, whatever, that can prevent that from getting into your pressure washer. And then of course your last line of defense is going to be this tiny little guy. This is a garden hose screen filter, and it just sits in the inlet of your pump right at the end of the hose and prevents any debris. So check this if your pump seems to be not getting enough water. So check this filter, check your inline filters, make sure there's no debris. If you don't have inline filters, you need to get some. But if you don't have inline filters, double check your valves inside your pump and make sure that there's nothing in there.
You want to know what makes us tick? It's living up to our vision. It gets us excited. Our vision at Powerwash Academy and Powerwash.com, for over 50 years, it's been to empower an industry and help DIY, commercial, and industrial cleaners succeed. So if this makes you have any questions, call us, email us, reach out. We're here for you. That's our job. That's what gets us excited, helping you succeed.
Again, if your pump is having issues, you want to check your flow, make sure you've got adequate water supply, check for any kind of leaks that you may have in your line, and then also check for any kind of debris that you may have in your filters or inside your pump. And if those things don't solve your problem and you're still hearing a knocking noise, my advice would be to reach out to a reputable service provider in your area and let them take over from there. They may be able to fix it relatively quickly and get you back on the road before you know it. My name is Clyde Heminger. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call here at Powerwash.com. We're happy to help you with pumps, supply hoses, screen filters, whatever you need. So thanks very much. Check us out online at Powerwash.com.